pleasure to be here. But most importantly, thank you, Congresswoman, my friend and my political mentor. I think I can speak for all of us in expressing appreciation to you and your staff for coordinating this meeting, for bringing us all together, for all that you do every day in Washington. And today I also want to express a warm welcome to our guest of honor, U.S. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh. On behalf of the city of West Palm Beach, please know what a tremendous honor and privilege it is to have you in our city. Welcome, sir. You know, my vision for West Palm Beach is a community of opportunity for all, a place where anyone can realize their dream regardless of their race, ethnicity, financial circumstances, or background. That could be a good job, a successful business, home ownership, whatever is their dream. Mr. Secretary, I believe your vision, values, and work are in alignment with what we are trying to achieve here in West Palm Beach. Your strong connection to working people and your commitment to creating an economy that works for all is critical to the upward mobility of people, not only in West Palm Beach, but also in cities throughout Palm Beach County and nationwide. Thank you for all that you are doing in Washington. It is having an impact and changing lives for the better. Again, welcome. And to my fellow mayors, I also welcome you to West Palm Beach. It's terrific to be in such great company. Now, although we represent different municipalities with different challenges and opportunities, I believe that there is more that binds us than separates us. After all, only a mayor can truly appreciate the very special, unique experience of another mayor in the delivery of services to the public and in the commitment to our communities and families. My sense is that this shared experience and perhaps shared priorities will only add to the spirit of collaboration in this room today. Though we may come from different cities, most of us have shared regional interests, mobility and transportation, water management, education quality, and affordable housing, as well as labor issues. It goes without saying that while many local cities are faring better than most after COVID-19, the public health threat has had and continues to have an impact on our constituents, their families, our municipal organizations' budgets, and the economy. Unemployment, workplace safety, re-employment benefits, and minimum wage all remain concerns. So on that note, it is my great privilege to introduce U.S. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh. Secretary Walsh became our nation's 29th Secretary of Labor in March. A lifelong champion of equity and fairness, he served as mayor of Boston from 2014 to 2021. Prior, he served as a union official and as a member of the House of Representatives, where he focused on creating good jobs, protecting workers' rights, expanding mental health treatment, and investing in public transit. The son of Irish immigrants, Secretary Walsh earned a degree in political science from Boston College, and Secretary Fulcha Ehidni Fulcha. That's a traditional Irish greeting, by the way, Lois. You probably didn't know what that means. Welcome. 100,000 welcomes.
I know what you just said.
I'll repeat it.
Hey, give me the Fulcha. No, it's great to be here today. First of all, thank you for the work you've done, particularly this last year as a mayor. My first 5-6 years as being mayor was fun, and we did things and we had activism. I know I'm going to testify across the hall in a little while for your budget, so we'll go. But this last year has been really difficult between COVID-19 and a lot of the unrest in our country that we're dealing with. I want to thank you for your work. It's been complicated and hard. And, you know, I come to this job as Secretary of Labor through the lens of mayor, being the mayor, and I think about what this administration is advocating on behalf of, and it doesn't matter whether you represent an affluent community or you represent a middle-class community or you represent where all the workers are community. It's important, the investment the president wants to make in the two infrastructure bills, in the CARES economy, in the American Rescue Plan, and the agenda that he's laid out. So we're excited, which we'll get into a conversation a little bit there. The president called me in January, asked me if I would serve as Secretary of Labor. I accepted and got sworn in on March, but my vote was March 23rd, so I resigned as mayor of Boston. Up until that point, I spent 7 years as mayor of the city of Boston. I understand the importance of mayors, whether they're big city mayors, small city mayors. Boston is really kind of a small city when you think about it, 700,000 people, but we have a really big attitude. So we want to be on the stage in New York and LA and those places, which we are. We're above them. But I just want to say, you know, in the Secretary of Labor's office, you have a friend in cities and towns all across this country. I mean, I know everything that we want to do, whether we want to advance racial equity, which we do, gender equity, which we do, workforce development, job training, apprenticeships, universal pre-kindergarten, free community college, all of that stuff, no matter what it is, it's gonna only be successful if it's carried out at the local level. You can't leave it to the state to do, no disrespect to the governors and things like that, but it's gonna come down to the local level. So you need to be our partners at the table, and I can tell you that you have a partner with me in the Secretary of Labor's office. Whatever we can do to help you, we're gonna help you. Anytime you need me to talk to you, come to you, I will be there.
Welcome, everyone. On behalf of the City of West Palm Beach, I'd like to welcome all attendees to this afternoon's roundtable organized by our esteemed Labor Secretary, Marty Walsh. Special thanks to Secretary Walsh for organizing this meeting, for his interest in our community. Mr. Secretary, your strong connection to working people and your commitment to creating an economy that works for all is critical to the upward mobility of people, not only in West Palm Beach, but also in cities throughout South Florida and nationwide. Thank you for being a champion of working people, and we are so proud and honored to have you as our Labor Secretary. Your work in Washington as Labor Secretary is critical to that vision and to the work of mayors everywhere who are working on behalf of our residents. So again, thank you for all that you do. Certainly want to acknowledge my friend and my political mentor, Congresswoman Lois Frankel, who represents District 21. The Congresswoman is a tremendous friend to West Palm Beach and to me personally. Congresswoman, you too have been a stalwart champion in West Palm Beach and Washington. Thank you for advocating on behalf of all of our residents and our workers. We appreciate everything that you do. To our special guests participating in the roundtable this afternoon, welcome to West Palm Beach. Each of you does incredibly valuable work. Whether you're increasing civic engagement in Black and underserved communities, advocating for caregiving or workers' rights, or championing the rights of immigrants, you are having a tremendous impact. It's so important for people to be able to have their voice heard on issues that are important. Each of you is helping to give a voice to those who otherwise might not have one, to protecting rights and to advocating for causes that are critical. We need you. Keep it up. So in closing, I wish to express how pleased I am that this afternoon's roundtable will focus on labor, the economy, child care, and caregiving. We know that millions of families are struggling with these very issues. We know that most families work and do not have a full-time stay-at-home caregiver. We also know that our economy is severely impacted by this. For children and families to thrive, and for our economy to thrive, these issues must be addressed in a way that is compassionate, makes good business sense, but also makes sense for working families. Today's conversation is critical to effecting the positive change desired by so many. Thank you.
It's great to be in the City Hall. I spent 7 years as mayor of Boston. I just stepped down March of this year, March 23rd. It's a job that's still in my heart. Before that, I was a state representative. I worked in the Massachusetts legislature for 16 years. And in my time there, I also ran the building trades for a couple of years. I was in St. Louis last week with Congresswoman Bush, and I was talking to a bunch of home care workers. And what I said to them was, this isn't a political speech. You have a mayor, you have a congressman here, you have other elected officials that were in the building today, with a state representative from the legislature here in Florida. We have an opportunity at this moment in time for all the work and all the advocacy that all of you have done for the last, how long it's been. We're at the goal line of an opportunity that we haven't seen in the CARES economy ever. There's a $1 trillion plus money of investments that Congress is negotiating right now that is going to go into the caregiving economy. As the Congresswoman said, the industry is predominantly women of color, and immigrants. Those of you that work in this industry who take care of our parents and our grandparents have had a brutal year with the pandemic. And the investment that the president wants to make in this industry is about investment in caregiving, in training, in your salary. When I was at the St. Louis last week, I was at Methodist Church, and there was a young woman there. She started talking. Her name was Monique Jameson. And it hit me when she started just crying uncontrollably because she makes $12.65 an hour. And she takes care of people, adults, and she can't raise her own family. And I know that's a lot of people's stories. So I want you to know that as we have the conversation today,
this conversation today is not about hopeful what'll happen. This can happen. It's teed up. It's teed up to happen. The president has two plans. One is called the bipartisan infrastructure plan, which is an agreement that's been made with Republicans and Democrats for roads and bridges and broadband and all that stuff. And the other one is called Build Back Better Infrastructure, which is the CARES economy, the work you do, childcare, adult care, job training money, and the like, and some other things too. So I look forward to having the conversation today. We're close, and we just need you to continue to have this conversation with people. I'm here to listen today and to talk to you about what you think, and Congressman will lead the discussion and what you think needs to happen. And we also have some labor advocates that are pushing this as well. So labor has a big seat at the table here to push this around the country. This is something we need to do, quite honestly. So thank you for having me sit here with you today talking.